Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you 5 different recipes that are all within like the $2 to $3 range. Some very cheap yet still healthy recipes. I wanted to make this video just to show you guys how eating healthy on a budget is real, like you can actually do this, and I'm gonna be giving you 5 recipes to try out. I do have 1 breakfast, 2 lunch, and 2 dinner recipes. So I'm gonna start by showing you my first lunch recipe, and that is going to be an egg salad sandwich. So you're first going to start by bringing a large pot of water to a boil, and then we're gonna be making the mayo, and this is definitely the hardest part of the recipe. It did take me a couple tries, but I think I finally got it. So first you're going to start by squeezing half a lemon, and then you're going to crack your egg into the container and then add your garlic. I like to make sure that I finally mince the garlic so that way you don't taste it in the mayo, because you're not actually going to be blending it, you're going to be whisking it. At least I'm going to be whisking it because I don't have an immersion blender. And now I'm going to be gently adding my eggs into the boiling water, and I turned it down to medium to make sure that they don't crack. So I'm starting to whisk the mayo, and keep in mind I haven't added the oil yet. This is the most important part that I messed up last time. So you're going to be slowly adding the oil as you're whisking it. You're going to want to add the first quarter cup very slowly, so about every 5 to 10 seconds. I did speed it up in this video, so you wouldn't have to watch the whole thing, but I'm basically just adding it very slowly. And then once you get to the quarter cup, you're just gonna actually add in the entire last quarter cup into the mayo and blend it that way. I did end up spilling like half of it on the cutting board, as you can tell, but it's fine. We just added a little bit more at the end. You could also buy store-bought mayo, but you'd be spending way more money. I know the Primal Kitchen one is like at least $5 to $10. And this video is about making cheap recipes, so making your own mayo is the way to go. I think it turned out pretty good. It definitely has room for improvement, but it's better than my last one. And after the eggs are done boiling for exactly 10 minutes, I immediately rinse them under cool water so that way they will stop cooking. Next up, we're going to be cutting and preparing the veggies. So I'm first starting with the celery. Look at those chopping skills. Oh yeah, baby. Then I'm just chopping the chives into little tiny baby pieces. And I forgot to mention that I'm actually doubling this recipe so that way I have it for lunch tomorrow. And while preparing the rest of the veggies and the eggs, I'm just popping my bread in the toaster. Now this is definitely my least favorite part, is peeling the eggs, but if you run them under cold water, it will be way easier to peel them. So as you can tell, it's not that bad. And I did end up doing all 6 just to make my life easier for tomorrow. So here I'm just transferring them to a bowl so that way I can mash them. I think it would probably be easier to cut them first, but I'm way too lazy for that, so I literally just took a fork and started mashing them. After you get your desired egg mush, you're going to begin adding the celery and chives and clean up as you go so that way you don't have a million dishes at the end. And now I'm just adding in my mayo. I did measure this out because we're on a budget here, so I did exactly 2 tablespoons. And now add in about 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and then add salt and pepper however much you want. I then added a little dash of cumin and mixed everything up. And now that my toast is done, I'm just going to be adding a little bit of extra mayo onto the bread. After I literally just said to measure out the mayo, but this looks like about a tablespoon, right? And now just adding a couple pieces of lettuce. I believe I used iceberg lettuce. You could also use romaine, whatever you want to do. And now add about half of your egg mush, or if you only made 1 serving, then all of your egg mush. And now you can add a little bit of Frank's Red Hot if you would like a little bit of spice. And please ignore that crust that just came off the hot sauce bottle. That's disgusting. Anyways, look how beautiful she turned out. This looks so good. Give it a taste. Wow, it's actually very good. I'm pretty proud of my mayo. So here we have the price breakdown per serving. It came out to exactly $2.06, not too shabby. Moving right along to our next recipe, we have chia seed pudding. This is literally the easiest breakfast ever. All you need to do to prepare it is just add chia seeds and your milk of choice. In this recipe, I used coconut milk. This brand is so fire. I just discovered it actually. I found it at Winco, so I'm sure they have it at other stores, but it is so good. It's really creamy and makes the perfect chia seed pudding. I've discovered that the perfect ratio is 3 tablespoons of chia seeds and half a cup of milk. And then all you're going to do is shake this up and refrigerate it overnight.
24 hours later.
Okay, so now for the fun part, we are adding our toppings. I like to switch it up, but for this recipe in particular, we're using banana because they are literally dirt cheap. I'm pretty sure one banana comes out to be like 15 to 20 cents, so we're adding half a banana on here. And then I am just doing a heaping spoonful of fresh peanut butter and a little sprinkle of coconut flakes. And here we have the price breakdown per serving. You guys, this was literally $1.50 to make. That's actually crazy. Moving on to our next recipe, which is a chickpea wrap. I'm starting by heating the pan to medium-high heat and adding a little bit of oil. I did avocado oil, but you can literally use whatever you have. I drained the chickpeas and added the entire can to the pan, and now I'm just stirring them around and adding some seasoning. So I'm adding some garlic powder, and what else did I add? Some cumin. This pan is non-stick, but shit sticks to it. I don't understand. Now I'm adding some buffalo sauce, about a couple tablespoons. Stirring that around. And now we have a fat ass tortilla that I found at Winco. They're literally huge. Like, you could fit whatever you want in there. And then I'm just slicing up some cabbage. You can use whatever lettuce you have, but I feel like cabbage tastes the best in this wrap, so that's what I'm doing, and it's really cheap. So now that the chickpeas are a little bit crispy, I'm adding those to the wrap as well. I did the entire can of chickpeas. It was kind of a struggle to fit this all, but the wrap can take it. And then I just added a quarter of an avocado and some more buffalo sauce. I also topped it with some plain Greek yogurt. You can also use sour cream. That would be probably a little bit cheaper. And here I am struggling to roll this up. That is always the worst part for me. So if anyone has any like burrito rolling tips, please send them my way because I was absolutely struggling. I'm glad this tortilla is huge. I should have put this up next to my arm so you could see literally how large it is because it's huge. Anywho, I'm heating up some oil on a new pan because the other one has crusted chickpeas stuck to it. And make sure that the oil is hot before you put the put the wrap on the pan, so that way it can get all nice and crispy. And I'm a savage and I flip that with my hand, but you could be smart and use a spatula. Now just cutting her in half. Look at how beautiful. She's a little crisp, but not too bad. You guys, this wrap looks so good, but I look so bad. Anyways, I'm gonna try it for you on camera. Look how bomb she looks. First impression, I've never had this before. That's not bad. It's very crunchy. I really like the tortilla though. It doesn't taste like spinach one. Very good with the buffalo. I'm thoroughly impressed. I'm only eating half the wrap and then I'm pairing it with like a side salad because I figured I would save half of it for tomorrow. And here's the price breakdown. I calculated the serving as 1 wrap, but I definitely don't think I could eat that whole thing. Moving right along to my personal favorite is our ground beef ramen. I literally make this at least once a week, and it is so good and so easy. It takes like less than 30 minutes and only a few ingredients, and not to mention it's very cheap. Anyways, I'm just starting by adding the ground beef to a pan and mashing that up with my little meat masher. And then while that is cooking, I'm just going to be shredding some carrots with a peeler. And back at it again with the cabbage, because she's cheap, she's easy, just chopping that bitch up. And then my camera angle is horrible here, but I was chopping up some green onions. Did I take out the ground beef? I can't remember. Oh no, there it is. Okay, so I'm adding the veggies on top of the ground beef. I believe I did cook the ground beef most of the way, so just adding the veggies, cooking them until they're translucent. On the side, I'm also doing some soft-boiled eggs. You're pretty much going to want to make them the same as hard-boiled eggs, except a lot less time, so I believe it's exactly 6 minutes that you do the soft-boiled eggs. To the stir-fry mix, I'm actually adding a little bit of bone broth because it wasn't enough liquid to cook the noodles. And then once the bone broth was boiling, I added the noodles directly to the pan. And then I'm just covering it to let it cook. And once the timer's up for the eggs, I'm doing the same thing as I did before, just running them under cool water immediately. And while those are cooling, I am adding some sriracha to the stir fry. She looks divine. And then the stir fry is about done. I'm just adding the eggs on top and peeled, of course. I forgot to show myself doing that, but I did peel them. Anyways, adding some sriracha and a little bit of sesame seeds to top. This meal came out to a whopping $2.99. You could make it a little bit cheaper if you didn't add the egg, but I feel like it's a nice touch. And coming to our last $2 meal. This is going to be some black bean burgers. I'm just starting by mincing some garlic and peeling and dicing an onion. Then I'm just draining and rinsing black beans. If you have stomach problems from black beans like I do, then rinsing them definitely helps. So you can definitely use a blender for this part, but I do have this little ninja chopper that works very well. So I'm just adding my onion, garlic, and black beans, and then I am mixing and blending that all up. At this point, it was looking a bit like cement, but we trust the process. So I added a 1/4 cup of flour. You can use any flour. I used oat flour. I make my own. I just blended my own oats, and then I added a 1/4 cup of Parmesan. And some salt and pepper. For some reason my phone likes to overheat and then it doesn't allow me to use a flash anymore, so that's why the lighting is changing. But anyways, I'm adding some paprika and a little bit of cumin. And then now here is me making the same exact thing except with ground beef. I was actually doing the beef burger for Alex. And then I was going to be eating the black bean burger. So I just added the same exact ingredients to his, but I didn't measure anything because I'm lazy. And I added like about half the egg because his was a little bit more dry. So for the black bean one, I actually didn't end up using the egg because look at how wet this is. You guys, I think where I went wrong is I should have dried the beans before I blended them. Because this shit was really sticky, or I could have added more flour. It's okay, it was the first time I made this. And then adding my brioche buns to the toaster while I cook the burgers. So I'm adding some butter to the pan. You can use oil or butter, whatever you prefer. Once the pan is hot, I'm just adding both burgers to the pan and cooking until they're a little bit crispy on the bottom and then flipping them over. And then I added some onion and garlic for some flavor and I burnt the buns, so I ended up throwing that one away. but it's okay. We had a full pack, so I just toasted another one. And then once the buns were toasted, I plated them and added some ketchup and mayo. This is the homemade mayo that I made earlier in the week. So repurposing it, of course. We love that. And then I'm adding some toppings. For Alex's burger, I add some lettuce and jalapenos. And here's his ground beef patty. I also added some cheese on top of his and some truff hot sauce as well as the onions. And here is my black bean burger that ended up being huge, and I added some lettuce and tomato to mine. I done fucked it all up, okay?
Not that bad.
It's raw. I don't know how to make bean burgers, but we're gonna try it anyways, because I don't waste, okay?
Got tomato on it.
Alex took one for the team and took half of mine and gave me half of his, so take the tomato off because he doesn't like tomatoes. It's a little soft. It literally just tastes like refried beans on a burger.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it tastes like a burger, but
I think the flavor is good.
it's good.
The texture is not right. I don't know how to do it.
It's good though.
I will report back with the new recipe. Don't follow this.
We'll try again.
So here's a price breakdown for one black bean burger. Like I kind of already mentioned, this burger was an epic fail, but it actually looked pretty good on camera. The texture was just way off. The beans were not cooked all the way, and I'm pretty sure it's because I didn't dry the beans. So if you do make this recipe, make sure to dry the beans and let me know how it turns out.